All right, boys and girls, today we're going to practice doing some multiplication, and this should be a total review from 3rd grade and 4th grade. But one thing that I want to focus on is making those easy estimates, because whenever we're doing our window pane and we're doing some problem solving, an easy estimate will help us decide if something is reasonable. So that's where I want to begin. So to make those easy estimates, we would just really want to round our leading number. We want to round these numbers that are 2-digit numbers to the nearest 10. Then we'll keep our single-digit numbers for now. So getting started, I'm thinking about the number 23. Is it closer to 23 or on its way to 30? It's on its way, or it's closer to 20. So sorry for the misspeaking. And then I'm going to slide the number 8 over. Now this is going to be some easy math because I already know this. 8 groups of 2 is 16. So 20 groups of 8 would be 160. That means my final answer should be reasonable to 160. So now I'm going to step aside and I'm going to solve 23 times 8. So when I think about 8 groups of 3, I think about the number 24. That's right, 24 is the answer. So 8 times 3 is 24. We're going to record the 4 in the ones place, but we're going to regroup the number 2 in the tens place. Now we're going to be multiplying 8 times 2. 8 times 2 will give me 16, but then I need to add in these 2 extra pieces, so that'll give me 17 and 18. And when I get my answer, 184, I have to think about, well, how reasonable is that? Well, I would say it's pretty reasonable, because if I go back and think about this being rounded down to 20 and this still remaining at 8 groups of 3 is 24. And 184 is 24 groups, or 24 away from 160. So these two numbers are reasonable to each other. Let's go ahead and do the next one. We have 27 times 9. When I think about these two numbers, I first want to think about 27. And what is the closest 10 to 27? Is it going to stay at 20? Or is it going to grow to 30? I think it's going to be closer to 30 because it's only 3 away. I'm going to slide the number 9 over. And I'm going to multiply 30 times 9 first. 0 times 9 is 0, but 9 times 3 is 27. So when I get my answer, I get 27. Or I could think about it like this. 3 groups of 9 is 27. And then I know that 30 groups of 9 is 270. Both of those pieces of thinking will work the same. I'm going to slide back over to my actual number, my exact number. And I'm going to start with the ones place first. 9 times 7. Now if I didn't know what 9 times 7 was, I would need to get out my multiplication chart. But since I do know that 9 times 7 is 63, I'm going to write the digit in the ones place down first. So that would be 3. And I'm going to regroup the number 6 to the tens place. And I'm going to circle that number that I'm regrouping. Now I'm going to multiply the number 9 times 2. 9 groups of 2 will give me 18, but then I need to add in 6 more. So when I add in 6 more, that's 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 will be my number. So now what I have to do is ask myself, well, is this reasonable? It seems kind of far away. But when I think about how far 9 groups, or 3 groups away from 30, and 3 groups of 9 would be 27, then this difference here would be about 27. So this does give me a reasonable number. Okay, So I'm going to go ahead and give myself a smiley face. Really, our estimate is just to keep us from getting something that's not completely unreasonable. Our estimates are just to help us decide if something is kind of close, kind of reasonable. Let's look at these next two examples. We have 49 times 5. So when I quickly think about 49, I think, well, it's closest to 50. And I'm going to slide my number 5 right over. So when I think about multiplying 50 times 5, an easy estimate would be, well, 5 times 5 is 25. So 50 times 5 would give me 250. And because this is just 1 away, I'm thinking to myself, this estimate should be really close to this exact answer should be really close to my estimate. So let's see how close we are. When we take the number 5 and we multiply it by 9, we can count by 5s, or we can just use our multiplication chart, or know the fact and know that 5 times 9 is 45. So I'm going to write the digit in my ones place, but carry the number to my tens place. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 4 more gives me 24. And looky there, just like I predicted, this is just one group of 5 away from my estimate. So I would say most definitely this is a reasonable answer. Our final problem in this row is 43 times 2. So 43, I have to think, is that closer to 40 or on its way to 50? 43 is most definitely closer to 40. It's only 3 away. And I'm going to slide the number 2 over. 2 groups of 40, or 2 groups of 4, is 8. So 2 groups of 40 is going to give me 80. So I'm thinking my answer should be reasonable to the number 80. Now I'm going to start in the ones place and multiply 2 times 3, which will give me 6, and 2 times 4, which will give me 8. And I would say that 80 and 86 are reasonable to each other. We're just 6 groups away, 2 groups of 3 away from our estimate, which is 80. Now what you're going to do is you're going to solve the rest of these by yourself. You're going to continue with making your estimates, and you're going to continue solving. After you complete a row, you need to go check in with Mrs. Barlow.